Hello everyone. It's a current affairs series for 2021, and in this entire lecture I'll go into the discussion of October 2020 based all science and technology issues. Those can be relevant for your examinations. Okay, so October 2020. See guys, in this month, those videos I'm going to start. I hope you people already have listened my earlier videos. Those I made especially for the current affairs 2021. This current affairs will equally important for UPSC and all state PCS examinations. Even most of you people have already listened my static classes. Later on, what about the current updation required? Okay, these all current updations will be enough for everyone. Okay, so let us start with the October 2020 current affairs, the monthly current affair issues for the current affairs 2021. See here in this case guys, total 11 chapters. Those I always told you. Again I will repeat here in the very fast. I'll tell you these 11 chapters equally important for the static and its related current affair issues. Static part already over. Now here we are coming into the current affairs parts. Those chapters are required here. You just listen. The one, science and technology in India. Second is the energy. Third one is space technology. Fourth, information communication technology. Fifth is the defense technology. Sixth one is the artificial intelligence, robotics, nanotechnology. Seventh, intellectual property rights and related rights. Eighth, particle physics. Ninth, biotechnology. 10th, health and disease with various immunization program. And the 11th is a miscellaneous topic. So these 11 topics, static and current affairs, both are important. I always spoken you guys like static and current affairs both have a same importance. Okay, but in 4 years, static is more dominating around 80%. Current affairs weightage was less than 20%. Okay, so that you people remember. But we people cannot miss the current affairs. Even in 2016 prelims examinations, current affairs based 60% question came. So this is the reason we people cannot take a chance, and we should give a equal weightage to the current affairs also for 2021. So first topic is the energy based, and this issue was actually regarding battery vehicles. Delhi issues notification on tax waiver for the battery vehicles because Delhi government want to promote battery operated vehicles on the road guys. The reason I hope you people know very well, worldwide if you people will count the top 10 districts, cities on the basis of emission of polluting gases, so Delhi always on the top maximum time. So how we can solve this burning of fuel like petroleum and all? So somehow this is the alternative procedure. So, and here Delhi issues the notification on tax waiver for the battery vehicles, and that is very, very important. And the full waiver guys, full waiver on the road taxes. And here the vehicle price will also be very less if you have an interest to buy a vehicle that is totally, battery operated. And for that purposes, government makes some policy, electric vehicle policy. And this is the Delhi electric vehicle policy 2020. Okay, Delhi electric vehicle policy 2020. What is here? I hope you people know very well. Totally boost up the electric vehicles. And here in this case, to purchase of electrical vehicles, battery operated vehicles, government also provides some incentives, measurements for all of you. And what about the policy aims? Delhi EV policy 2020 aims to register at least 5 lakh electric vehicles by 2024. So this number is very huge, and somehow it is showing it the interest of the government right now in the electronic vehicles, electrical vehicles. Even in 2019, one of the trial also happened on Delhi side to solve the pollution problem, and that was a hydrogen CNG. Those CNG buses are running on Delhi road guys. In this CNG buses, okay, IOCL and Delhi government has done some work, especially they have done the mixing of hydrogen fuel in the CNG cylinder, 20% mixing of hydrogen fuels. And because of it, many benefits happen. Benefit was happen like carbon monoxide emission reduces. Those are very, very toxic for the human beings. Calorific value, octane number increases. Efficiency of fuel enhanced. Now 5 to 10% of fuel you can conserve because extra mileage you got it. Yeah, that is okay. It was somehow costly, but many benefits. And that was a trial, and it was a question in UPSC prelims 2019. So Delhi based any schemes, just like FAME scheme. I hope you heard it, the name of FAME scheme. Battery operated vehicles for that purposes. FAME scheme also running in Delhi. The last 2-3 years FAME scheme is very, very important. But there is no question in the FAME scheme. Again here the question is related to FAME scheme related Delhi Electronic Vehicle Policy 2020. So that is important. You must be clear. Okay. Actually this time currently if you see the number of electronic vehicle on the roadside, so around 0.29% in this national capital Delhi. Number of electronic vehicles, and the government has planning by 2024 at least 25% electrical vehicle should run on Delhi roadsides. Here the government will give a low interest loan on the electronic commercial vehicles, so it's good. Government is promoting it. A specific board government will set up, Delhi government, State Electric Vehicle Board, especially as a caretaker of electronic vehicles to boost up the electronic vehicles. And parallelly guys, that government has a aim of this policy that within a year at least 200 charging station government was planned to set up in Delhi, and that is very, very important. At least these charging stations, those will help to charge the electronic vehicles. It should be in the radius of at least 3 kilometers. It should be in the radius of around 3 kilometers. Okay, in this way guys, in this way electronic vehicles are going to boost up. Second topic, that is a India Energy Modeling Forum. So India Energy Modeling Forum. Actually this forum type of concepts brought from USA. It's long back guys. And now there was some current affair news in the reference of India. This India Energy Modeling Forum was launched by NITI Aayog and USAID. USAID means United States Agency for International Development. USAID means United States Agency for International Development. Purpose here, India and US will make a strategic energy partnership. What about the strategic energy partnership and all? The discussion I'll do. Who will be the participatory composition of this all the entire India Energy Modeling Forum? So here in this forum guys would include knowledge partners, different data agencies and concerned government ministries. They all will work together, especially in this case of India Energy Modeling Forum. Purpose. The forum aims is what? Actually through the help of this forum guys, we will examine. It is a platform, it will provide a platform through that we will examine those energy requirement, importance for India. In this reference, what about the environmental issues? You know guys, 60% power generation in India is because of coal. And coal is the main source of environmental pollution, not in India, worldwide. Because 60% of power generation in the world also generating by the burning of coal. That is called thermal power plant. So massive environmental pollution. The main reason behind the greenhouse gas emission in the worldwide, anthropogenic cause, human-made reason is what? That is the burning of coal. Burning of coal means energy requirement. Side by side, what you people are creating? Environmental pollutions. That is not good. Those environmental pollution you people are doing, it is not good. Okay, this is not good. Okay, so here through the help of this forum guys, ultimately energy requirement and energy environmental related issues will properly examine through the help of this forum. For that purposes, many data we are taking under the computational system. Through computers modeling, computer programmings, we will try to examine guys about energy requirement and environmental issues. That will check properly. And through the help of it guys, through the help of this forum, this computational system and all, ultimately our government will come on some decision making. Our government will come on some decision making. Okay, and it will improve cooperations. Different type of cooperations. That's why energy requirement we will fulfill a part of, what happened? Environmental problem we not create. Improve cooperations between modeling teams, government, knowledge partners, funders here in these all cases. In these all cases. And finally, it will identify the knowledge gap at different level across the different areas. And of course, to build capacity of various Indian institutions. Those are also very, very important for the research level. Now the question is, what actually energy modeling? What actually energy modeling? You call energy modeling and energy system modeling, both are same. It's a process of building a computer model. I told you guys, it's a computational work, computer models of energy system in order to analyze them. Analyze them what? In the respect of environment. in the respect of environment, that how much the feasibility of greenhouse gases emissions. Okay, everything guys, we will check here in this case of computational system. Okay, and properly the energy those we are going to use it, we will make it more efficient, more users. Okay, and it will be sustainable for environment. Energy modeling forums in USA was established in 1976 at Stanford University to connect leading modeling experts and decision makers from the government, industries, universities, and other research organizations. So first time energy modeling forum was set up in USA in 1976. And this forum provides unbiased platform. It's not biased for any government, any officers or anything, to discuss the contemporary issues revolving around the energy and environment. So it's a unbiased platform, and it works related to contemporary issues in our surroundings related to energy and environment. So it's just a energy modeling. Okay, energy modeling was in the news so last year, so you must be know about some factual data about energy modeling forums. I don't think so it's much important, but still it was in the news last year, so I brought this topic. Space technology, OSIRIS-REx, from the last 3-4 years, very important. I'm expecting this question as an important question for your examinations. Actually, this OSIRIS-REx is a NASA based mission. So a space technology based topic. OSIRIS-REx is a NASA based mission, and this mission was launched many years back. It was in 2006 for the study of Bennu asteroids. Bennu asteroid is a near Earth orbit based asteroids. Near Earth asteroids, Bennu is one of them. I think you people know asteroid belts are between the Mars and Jupiter, in between. Sometimes these asteroids also enter into the Earth orbit and become as a meteor and meteorites. So this asteroid that is nearby from the Earth is a Bennu, guys. Okay, NASA has launched this mission, OSIRIS-REx. OSIRIS-REx have a technical name like Horizon Spectral Interpretations, Resource Identification, Security, Regolith Explorer. I will not advise this name. You remember OSIRIS-REx, it is enough. OSIRIS-REx mission was launched in 2006 for the study of Bennu asteroids, reached in 2018 to the target site, and finally landed on the surface, okay, on the asteroid, touch on the asteroids Bennu in 2020. October 2020. It's October month current affairs. So October 2020 touch on the surface of the asteroids Bennu. In 2021 there was a news. It will come back towards the Earth. 2021 it will left OSIRIS-REx surface, and within 2 years, at least by 2023, it will land on the Earth. And what is the beauty of it in this mission, which make it very special? First time there was a planning of NASA to collect the sample, soil sample, and carry back towards the Earth. Interesting, guys. So the soil sample of asteroids, this mission will carry back on the Earth by 2023. It is the total planning. And NASA's first mission to return a sample from the ancient asteroids. Okay, it's an ancient asteroid. Why ancient asteroid, guys? Because at the time of origin of Earth, okay, somehow these asteroids even help us to provide a proper knowledge. Just I'll discuss with you about the Bennu. Why Bennu is an important one. Actually, this asteroid was discovered in 1999 by the help of a NASA research team. That name was the Lincoln Near Earth Asteroid Research Team. These teams has done some work, and finally they got the presence of asteroid Bennu in 1999. And they're believing that when our solar system formed, in that time, in the first 10 million years of the solar system formation, okay, what happened? This asteroid Bennu came. It's roughly around 4.5 billion years old. So this asteroid is around 4.5 billion years old. You know, Earth also originated around 4.6 billion years ago. The Earth origin is what? Around 4.6 billion years ago. Origin of universe around 13.6 billion years ago. Big Bang. Universe, origin of Earth, And one more fact I'll tell you, origin of life 3.2 billion years ago. Don't be rushed, nearby this value. From today 3.2 billion years ago, origin of life. From today around 4.6 billion years ago, Earth origin. From today around 13.6 billion years ago, universe originated. You know, Big Bang theory and all. Because of Bennu's age, it's very old. It is likely to contain a material that contain molecules that were present when the life first formed on the Earth. Okay, so ultimately scientists believe on it. Bennu's that place where all the life support systems, actually in the beginning, what was the condition of Earth, how life came on the Earth. Every information is also available this time on the Bennu asteroids, because Bennu asteroids have a lot of carbon, where life forms are based on the carbon atom chain, and a lot of carbon contents are there. Even there are some studies happen. These asteroids Bennu have a lot of high carbon content, and that is the reason those reflection of light going to be happen. It is hardly 4%. Those lights are coming towards the asteroids, and after coming falling down, those reflection is going to be happen hardly 4%. It means maximum light is going to absorb on the surface somehow. Reflect back is very less. And the reason it is proved because in this place have a high carbon content. Even Venus side have a less carbon content. That is the reason maximum reflection happens 65% of the solar lights. You know, all the solar system asteroids, every celestial bodies in our solar system, they all are receiving the light from the sun. But the light, those are going to come back after reflection. This value change varies, and it is depend on the carbon composition inside your atmosphere. And the Earth have a in between condition. 30% of reflection of the lights is going to be happen. It means the carbon content on the Earth is in between of Venus and asteroids Bennu. It is this asteroid Bennu is what? It's a near Earth object. And scientists are believing in this aspect that in the coming future, there is possibility it may strike to the Earth's surface, but in the next century of 2100. 2175 and 2199. In that time, there is possibility it may fall down towards our surface. And those sample was the planning to collect. This sample NASA will collect actually from some of the crater regions. Those are available toward the northern hemisphere region into the Bennus. This is designated as the night angle. This is designated as the region is as a night angle. So from this reason, there was a planning to take a samples and carry back towards the ground by 2023. Really, it will be a tremendous work by NASA, guys. The first time asteroid samples NASA has planning to carry back. And OSIRIS-REx, again, I'm telling you, is very important. National supercomputing mission is a evergreen questions, but I have not seen any question from the last 10 years from the National supercomputing mission. But time to time, many supercomputer, the grids and all in the news, guys. Actually, who is behind the National supercomputing mission? It's implementations. So for these implementations have a CDEC and IISc Bangalore. CDEC Center for Development of Advanced Computing, Pune, and Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. These both two are behind the implementation of National supercomputing mission. And which department is working behind it? National supercomputing mission. So National supercomputing implemented by CDEC and IISc Bangalore, but who is behind it? So Department of Science and Technology and Department of Electronics and Information Technology, that is called DITE. These two departments are behind the National supercomputing mission. Now question is, what is a National supercomputing mission? Actually, guys, for the academicians, for research and development purposes, supercomputer is very important. Is very important. For the better calculations, observations, high performance computing facilities. Okay, calculations, observations. For that purposes, National supercomputer is very important. The main focus it. You know, before this National supercomputing mission, guys, NKN, National Knowledge Center, Network. National Knowledge Network was even also worked. This program, National Knowledge Network, was another program brought by government. Purpose same, for the academic and institution and the R&D labs. High speed network we should set up. Purpose, high performance computing system. What is the achievement of it? Overall, in the case of supercomputer, I hope you people know very well the first supercomputer that was developed in India. It was developed by IIT BHU, Varanasi, IIT BHU. Its name was the Param Shivaya. And Param Shivaya was you should declare it was the first indigenous supercomputer. Later on, IIT Kharagpur, ISCR Pune, they also have developed supercomputer like Param Shakti and Param Brahma. You know what is the benefit of supercomputer? I hope you people have idea, guys. Small calculations, more difficult calculations. Okay, they can provide the better observations about the weather, climate understanding, computational fluid dynamics, bioinformatics, material sciences. These all the studies and knowledge become very, very easy, guys. Better calculation and observation they can do. Another interesting news, and literally very, very interesting news. And the news was about indigenous server that is called Rudra. Rudra. And it is the first time that India made their own server in the history of India, guys. Actually, from last 2-3 years, one of the topic got so much popularity about data localization. Data localization. It got so much popularity in the last few years. Even I'm expecting some question in your paper from data localization, even in the prelims and mains both. For the data localization, RBI has shown an interest. Government also wanted a data localizations. The Krishna committee was set up for this understanding of data localizations. Actually, all the internet-based data, those we are going to save, it is actually somewhere on the servers. And these servers are the places where all the internet-based data we are going to save. And all the servers are not in India, these are outside from India. Just like Amazon, Facebook, Instagram, Gmail, everything you are going to open your computer and mobile phone. But all the data are not inside the India. All the data are somewhere outside of geographical boundary. Amazon data is safe somewhere in US. Facebook data is also safe somewhere in the US. So if you people want to open the Facebook, firstly the data will go and search in the server of USA and then open on your computer. It means all the data are not safe. Outside of geographical boundary, your data are safe in a server. And here your data can be leaked very easily. Your data should be localized. That is concept of data localization. Neither other people can misuse your data for their own economical benefits, for to leak some personal documents of you people, guys. RBI also has said that data localization is very important because people are going to put their own card detail and all on the Amazon and many other platforms. Only after OTP your transaction happen. So all the platforms are not very safe if their server are not in India. So data location is very important. For these purposes, India have own server and recently developed, that is a Rudra. Rudra, it's an indigenous server India has developed, and it's a high performance computing system. Meet the high performance computing systems where all government and public sector, whatever the units for that every data, this server will be used. First time that a server system was made in India, it is a history I'm telling you, along with the full software stack developed by the CDOC. Okay, the full software stack developed by CDAC, especially in this case. Some other topic, that is monoclonal antibody. It's got so much popularity in the last year because of COVID. In the case of COVID, guys, Serum Institute of India and International AIDS Vaccine Initiatives, they announced against SARS-CoV-2 virus. To neutralize this virus, we people will use monoclonal antibody technology. And this monoclonal antibody technology we will use to neutralize the COVID virus, SARS-CoV-2 virus inside the human body. Monoclonal antibodies also called as a hybridoma technology. You must be clear, guys. Remember it, hybridoma technology. In 1980s, don't know exact year, 3 scientists worked together especially for monoclonal antibody or hybridoma technology. Neil Jerne, Kohler, and Milstein. And for this contribution, guys, they got Nobel Prize. Year I'm not very sure, 1980s, 1990s around, but this technology invented long back. This is the technology, monoclonal antibody or hybridoma technology, where we will develop an antibody. And this antibody we are going to generate inside the living body, into the living host. And those antibody we are going to generate, this antibody is being generated because of COVID virus, SARS-CoV-2 virus. So definitely those immunity or antibody develop have a resistance against this type of antibodies. So monoclonal antibodies, they are man-made proteins that act like a human antibodies in the immune system. Those antibody human body have to save your body and just work as a immunity, guys. Here, this type of antibody as a protein, through the help of monoclonal antibody, we will develop and solve the problem of COVID-19. Actually, there is a very lengthy process. I have a plan to make a separate video on monoclonal antibody. As a brief, I'm telling you, actually, WBC cell, I hope you people know very well, white blood corpuscles. This is the cell inside your blood, guys, which are responsible for the generation of antibody. Antibody, I hope you know very well. Immunity protein or resistance protein against antigen, those develop inside your body. Antibody. WBC is what? It's a lymphocyte cells. Lymphocyte cells. But the problem with the lymphocyte cell have not the division ability. Lymphocyte cell have not the division ability. Okay, those are responsible for the formation of WBC cell, and WBC cell is your antibody. If I want to generate antibody, increase the antibody, so I must have to generate the WBC, I must have to generate the lymphocyte cells. Through the help of myeloma cell is a cancerous cell. Myeloma is a somatic cell, lymphocyte is a somatic cell. These both two somatic cell fusion we people are doing. And finally, a hybrid of somatic cell prepare. Hybrid of somatic cell, that is called hybrid of soma, hybridoma. Now myeloma and lymphocyte cell fuse together, they become as a hybridoma cell. They become here as a hybridoma cell. Now what is the benefit because of hybridoma cell? Those lymphocyte cell have not the ability of division. Now because of cancerous cell, they start to divide. Because myeloma is a cancerous cell, and in the case of cancerous cell have a fastest division ability. Now the lymphocyte cell will get the fastest division ability. Now you will take into living organisms, integrate the hybridoma cell. Okay, where the lymphocyte cell start to divide because of myeloma cell. Those lymphocytes had not the ability for the division. Now in the presence of myeloma cell, they start to division. And now what happened, guys? You integrate the hybridoma cell into any living organisms. Okay, here you integrate some viruses also. COVID virus. Now this lymphocyte will develop antibody against the COVID viruses. And this virus based antibody, those develop into the mice. Why develop? Because lymphocyte develop this antibody. Why lymphocyte grow? Because of lymphocytes, because of myeloma cells. And finally antibody, develop this antibody you can take and give the human body, especially for the treatment of COVID. And just to brief out it, guys, how the entire system is working. How entire system is working. Okay, how entire system is working. Now, some more news about the Indigen program. Indigen program. What about Indigen program? Actually, guys, Indian Genome Program. This program brought by CSIR in 2019. This program brought by CSIR in 2019. Under this program, 1029 genomic sequences from the India recorded under computation analysis. So under computation analysis have a 1029 sequence genomes from India published. It was an analysis. Those was carried out under Indigen program. So under Indigen program, this was the analysis those happened. It was analysis those happened. 1029 sequence genome. 1029 sequence genome sequences under computational work has data and all collected. In this analysis of this sequence genomes, total 5 crore 58 lakh 98,128, around 5 crore 58 lakhs. Yeah, 5 crore 60 lakhs. Single nucleotide variants properly checked. And whenever this much of variants of nucleotides sequence checked, 32.23% among these, around 1 crore 80 lakhs. That was very, very unique. Only this type of sample sequences in Indians, not any other people in the world. Now you will ask me, sir, what is this benefit? Because this type of unique sequences only in the Indians. Now see, guys, many studies you can do with the help of it. It means maybe India's other centric populations, Indian centric populations in the case of genomic initiatives. Maybe all the other countries based human beings, those was there, they all came from India. The first time the human being and all civilization came to India, brought in India, later on it spread to the other one. And how you will get it? Through the help of genomic analysis. Other countries, because of some other environmental features, climate conditions, the genetic character can be changed. But the central populations, the maximum one similarities are from India. So there are somehow conclusions are here, guys. Even this type of indigen will be very beneficial for the understanding of public health. Public health in India. It will literally help us. How public health and all, a discussion I'll tell you. It was a CSIR's initiative, indigen program in April 2019 launch. Around 1000 of the people, 1029 genome sequencing happened. And through the help of these guys, and see those collections of the sample we have taken from various diverse ethnic group of India. Different ethnic group of the human guys, that sample was taken under 1029. The purpose of these sequences, genetic epidemiology. Those genetic problems, genetic differences happen that we can do better, guys. We can check here, guys. And develop public health technology applications using population genome data and all. Okay, genome sequencing is very important topic, and every year one of the question you will get in your paper. So what is the purpose of indigen? You know very well about it. Will help us to find out many genetic diseases, to find out about the human evolutions, human races, somehow worldwide human, you can connect and you can understand. Okay, genome sequencing is the most important topic. Every year one questions. 2020 one question, 2019 one question, 2018 one questions. But every time question is a concept based. Even those genetic characteristics you are going to find out in 1029 sequences, those gene sequences you have done. In these 1029 gene sequences, actually you people try to find out human genetic characters. But gene sequencing are what? Actually, I'll tell you guys, from our parents, we people are getting a chromosomes. We people got chromosomes XX, XY from our parents. In these chromosomes have actually presence of DNA. In these chromosomes have a presence of DNA. And within the DNA have a presence of genes. Within the DNA have a presence of genes. And genes are hereditary characters. Genes are hereditary characters. Those are going from generation to generation. So where is the gene? Genes are inside the DNA. Where is the DNA? DNAs are inside the chromosome. Where is the chromosome? Chromosomes are inside the cell. And this cell based sperm egg we people got from our parents. Where is the gene? Within the DNA have a base pair sequences. Even one of the biotechnology lecture I have uploaded on this Purvanchal IS app. Kindly listen once. A lot of concept of cell, gene and DNA, you will be very clear. You will never have any confusion here in this case. DNA have a base pairs like A, T, G, C. You know this type of base pair in DNA. This type of base pair in the DNA. These base pair have some orders, some genomic sequences. Around 3 billion base pairs. This much of length of DNA in all human beings. In your every cell have a how much length of DNA? 3 billion base pairs. A, T, G, C, C, G. In this way, if you count the number of base pairs, A and T is a base pair, G and C is base pair. Around 3 billion base pair DNA sequences in all of you. So we all human beings are human beings because we have a 3 billion base pair sequence of DNA. So those DNA inside a cell have the total length of DNA in the respect of AT, GC, CG, AT, TA base pairs. So these numbers are around 3 billion base pairs. If suppose somewhere a fossil I got, I don't know which fossil is this, is which animal, yeah, human, which one. So whenever you take a cell samples and here you got the DNA sequence around 3 billion base pair sequences, that is prove it is a human being, because human is that person where the genome sequence size is 3 billion number of base pairs. But in this base pair guys, this AT, GC, CG, TA order different. These orders are different. And that's why we all people are different. How interesting it is. We all are the human being. Have a 3 billion base pair sequence inside the DNA. But the order of base pair sequences AT, GC vary in all of you. And this is the reason you yourself and me myself. You came from your parents, your look is different. I came from my parents, my look is different. My brothers, sisters have a different look because they have a different. Okay, so why so? But we all people have a how many sequence of DNA? So answer is a 3 billion base pair. But the order of base pair sequences in everyone is changed. That's why we all people have a look and feature change. And these genome sequencing, okay, is very, very important. So genes sequencing and all is a specific exact order of base pair of any individual that is in the human being. Yeah, anywhere guys. Okay, these sequencing, these studies are very, very important. We can find out the genetic defect inside your body. Through the help of DNA sequences or gene sequencing, we can detect the parent-progeny relationship, that you are the son and daughter of your parents or not. You can check easily. Criminals in the absence of eyewitness, forensic science, DNA fingerprinting analysis, those you people are doing in the case of DNA fingerprinting, southern blotting. Ultimately, what you people are doing here, you are doing the you are going to check about the DNA sequences and all. And inside the DNA have a specific base pair sequence, okay, that are responsible for the formation of certain characters of protein. It's called as a gene. So within a DNA have a gene. This discussion for that video, okay, I will suggest you kindly see once. It will open your eyes and you will not have any confusion next time for the understanding of DNA and gene. Even a very simple question I asked in the students, even a student in the class, what about the number of DNA in a chromosomes? People confuse. Even I got some of the people has done the AMTech, even AMTech biotechnology. They're still confused. One chromosome have one DNA. So even this type of basic student have not. This is the problem. And UPSC have a demand of only basics. Now come next, that is a World Polio Day. What is World Polio Day? Actually, 24th October is the birthday date of a scientist. His name was Jonas Salk. Jonas Salk was that person who has invented, even developed poliomyelitis vaccines. And because of this man who developed the poliomyelitis vaccines, okay, his birthday day, even 24th October, we people started to celebrate as a World Polio Day. Polio is a what? It's a highly infectious viral disease. Generally, it happened to the young childrens. Even it can transfer to the person to person. Even fecal oral route, through waste, through contaminations, through mouth, that can enter. And the common way through that polio can enter, it's a water and food, contaminated water and contaminated food. These viruses, they enter through the help of it and multiply inside your intestine and increase their own number. And slowly and gradually, they will infect your nervous system and finally they cause paralysis. Many of the person have a foot and movement problem because of paralysis. You people know very well what happened here in this case. WHO on February 2012 removed India from the list of countries, okay, where the disease is endemic. Endemic type of diseases are those which are localized in the certain areas, year after year. And finally in 2014, WHO make India free. What free? Polio free. Okay, in Southeast Asian region, WHO free India from polio. So India become as a polio free this time. Okay, and even in India still, but we are giving the oral polio vaccines. Even it is mandatory since March 2014. Why? Because India is free, but the nearby other countries like Afghanistan, Nigeria, Pakistan, Ethiopia, Kenya, Somalia, Syria, Cameroon, here the human of Indians, they are going, and from these areas the people are coming to India. Whether still the vaccination and all process was not good. Most of the people have no vaccines. The viruses are there. So there is a chances that still the viruses can enter inside your body and can cause some problems. Okay, so this is the reason, guys. This is the reason. India is totally free, and newborn have still need to give a oral polio vaccines after certain period of time. Neither they can suffer. Next one is plasma therapy. Plasma therapy. What is the plasma therapy? Actually, in the last video, I also have discussed with you guys. But today this plasma therapy is totally banned in India. ICMR is totally even stopped this type of treatment against the COVID virus. And this type of plasma was actually called as a convalescent plasma. In the last video, I have discussed with you. September month current affairs. I have discussed with you September 2020 convalescent plasma. Convalescent plasma is that plasma where inside your plasma already have antibody. Okay, even many countries like China, Netherlands, they stopped the plasma therapy. They said that very little or no results because of plasma therapy. Okay, so India also it was banned. Even India have a plasma bank also, though set up first time in India, it was in Delhi. In the last video I told you. Plasma is a kind of a specific part inside the blood. Liquid part is a plasma. Okay, and those antibody in the case of COVID, a person generate, it is inside the plasma. It is stored inside the plasma. So within the plasma, those antibody generate, we are going to take it, this plasma based antibody, especially for the treatment of the person is suffering with the COVID. And the plasma, even in the case of blood, you are taking the whole blood, and after 3 months again you are able to give your blood in the case of blood donations. But in the case of plasma, after 2 weeks again you people are able to give a plasma. So plasma is some of the parts those we are going to separate from the blood, not the whole blood we are taking in the case of plasma donations. You must be clear here, guys. Narcoanalysis was also a question. It was also a topic in the last year, because Uttar Pradesh government has taken some decision in the case of Hathras rape and murder victims family members to go through narco test. But you know, guys, narco test, it was the news, but narco test is a science and technology. What are the concerns? Concern is here, guys, like how many of you people know about the fundamental rights? In the rural areas, the people have no knowledge, no studies. If this type of narco-analysis and everything will start, so the person will never know about the fundamental right to privacy. So it's a kind of right to privacy violations. Everybody, those guys are listening me, myself, everyone have their own personal life, and nobody want to disclose it. And you should even not disclose also. Even you should also not disclose it. It's your personal life. It's a right to privacy. And government also giving you a right. Your personal matter should be safe and secure. That's why you people cannot go anyone phone taping and all. Okay, it's a matter of your liberty, dignity, human dignity. Okay, fine. So this type of concern is here. Those person are illiterate. Okay, here the person never know about the fundamental rights. The person can go in the case of narco analysis and all. But it's a violations. It's a violations of right to privacy. Actually, in the case of narco test, what we are doing in the miscellaneous chapter of science and technology, this narco test I have given. Some injections based drugs, doctor will provide you. Sodium pentothal and sodium amytal, both are. This mixing we are doing inside the water, inside the distilled water. Around 3 grams of sodium pentothal and amytal, we are doing into the 3000 ml of water, yani 3 liter of water. And then this drugs is going to provide you. And what this drug is doing, they hypnotize you. This drug will hypnotize you, totally hypnotize you. Okay, it's a sedative state. Hypnotize. You will totally hypnotize because of this medicine under the supervision of doctor. And you are totally administered under the hand of doctor, your person who are asking the questions to you. Okay, and here, this drug, sodium pentothal and sodium amytal, is popular as a truth serum. This is popular as a name of truth serum, yeah, truth drug. This is popular as a truth serum or truth drug. Even in the case of anesthesia during surgery and all, doctors are using this type of drugs. You know, during the narco test, your body is connected with the many instrument and devices, ECG, EEG, MRI, you know, P300 test to measure the brain frequencies. You know, I have mentioned in the book, guys. Everything is connected inside your body. And then through the help of all the analysis of instrument and devices, it is going to identify the person is telling truth or lie. Even first time it was used during the World War II for the intelligence operations. This type of truth drugs or truth serum was used. Next issue is the biofortifications. And it's really nice, guys. You know, in the case of public distribution system, 2 rupees rice, 3 rupees wheat, those are available. It is good to fill your empty stomach, but it's not good for the nutrition supply. It is not good for mineral and vitamins. Your stomach will full, but the minerals and vitamins, those are required for the body, you are not getting. So the weaker section of people, those are purchasing 2-3 rupees rice and wheat, it has not the nutritional value. Here our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji, dedicate to our nation 17 recently developed biofortified varieties of 8 crops. 8 crop based 17 varieties. And these all the 17 varieties are what? Biofortified varieties. Biofortified varieties means now your normal Indian thali is going to transform into Nutri Thali. Nutri Thali means now your thali based food is have a nutritional values. Nutritious values. And the amount of nutrition is around 3 times increased. 3 times increase in these 17 varieties. 3 times increase in these 17 varieties. What is biofortifications? Biofortification is what? Increasing the nutritional value of the food crops. How it will increase? With the help of increasing the value of vitamins and the minerals inside your crop. Now the question is how we can generate, how we can improve. So there is 2 processes, even few processes, like conventional plant breeding method you can use it. Agronomic practices we can use it, biotechnology through genetic engineering we can do it. And finally, what happened in this case of conventional plant breedings and all? Just simple, guys. In the case of conventional plant breeding, what do people do? Some of the plants have some nutritional value of vitamin and minerals, and the plant have not some other values. Both to hybrid you make. Now both to genetic character can come into the next offsprings. In the next offspring, if you literally got some improved features, that seed you multiply and distribute to the farmers. It will be biofortified. So through conventional crop breeding methods, people can improve it. Just like a crossbreeding, even crossbreeding with the varieties with the other desirable trait from the target areas, you people can also do it. Finally, the purpose is what? Provitamin A, carotenoid, zinc, iron, these all concentration level even increased, the value will increase. Okay, and through the help of these crossbreeds and all, you can provide many benefits you can provide. Like the virus resistance, drought resistance, high yielding, tasting, everything you can enhance here. Even in this case, the micronutrient level increase like vitamin A, iron and zinc type. How biofortification is different for the food fortifications. Biofortification in the beginning, when the plants are growing, they already have a nutritional value. When the crop being grown, the crop already grown with the nutritional value. It's a biofortification. What is food fortification? Food fortification increases the nutritional value of foods. When we are doing the processing of food, in that time we people are doing the mixing of it. So during processing of food, we people are going to do addition of micronutrients in the food. When you people do the addition of micronutrient in the food during the food processing, it's called food fortifications. And when you people have doing the cross breeding and something and then the genetic character already enter into the plant body, when you people grow the plant already have if I have a nutrition value, it is a case of biofortifications. And food fortification, when the food you people are going to process after harvesting and something, you do some mixing of some nutrients availability inside the plants. It's called what? It's called food fortifications. So I hope you people have no confusion here. Now, in October month, every year have a article regarding the Nobel Prize. 3 Nobel Prizes are important. The one is of physics, second is the chemistry, and third is a medicine in the respect of science and technology. 2020 Nobel Prize in the physics. Okay, 2020 Nobel Prize in the physics. This Nobel Prize is given to Roger Penrose, Reinhard Genzel, and Andrea Gage. These people got the physics Nobel Prize. Okay, purpose for the understanding of black holes. For the more understanding of black holes. Actually, black hole is formed when the star collapse. Actually, many reasons are given for the formation of black hole. Okay, many reasons are given for the formation of black hole. Okay, even black hole is that reason, guys, where nothing escape. Nothing escape. It's totally entire black regions and have a massive mass and gravity. That's why massive mass and gravity, even if light you will send it, light still not come back, not escape. So this is the place, black hole, guys. Black hole. So since light cannot get out, black holes are invisible and can only be tracked with the help of some space telescope or other spatial tools. And that study some scientists even performed here. And because of massive gravity, guys, in these regions, massive gravity, nothing is going to escape, even not the lights. What the Penrose has done and what the Gengel and Gage has done, for that purposes they got the Nobel Prize. Penrose has discovered that the black hole formation is a robust prediction of the general theory of relativity. This general theory of relativity was given by Einstein in 1915. And even the concept of the black hole, somehow through the help of space-time, through the help of space-time, Einstein done. And the same Penrose has done this work and find out that whatever the general theory of relativity based robot prediction has done, that is right. So somehow Penrose even support to the general theory of relativity. Those was given by Einstein in 1915. In the previous video, I have discussed with you about the gravitational waves. And in the study of gravitational waves, first time a man who firstly informed about the existence of gravitational wave was also Einstein under general theory of relativity. What Gengel and Jegg? Gengel and Jegg even discovered a very supermassive compact object at the center of our galaxy, where our Earth and all the solar systems are there. This is called as a Sagittarius A. Sagittarius A is a supermassive black hole. And you know, it is been identified the mass of Sagittarius A black hole is a 4 million times more than the sun, guys. So massive mass is there. You know, space-time I discussed with you in the case of static topic. Suppose this is a space-time fabric, as Einstein said, space-time. Einstein general theory of relativity was UPSC question 2019. In this space-time, what is it? The one axis is the space and second axis is y is called time. On this fabric, space-time, okay, I'm just putting some mass of the body on this fabric. Of course, you people know very well, those objects have a more mass. In this cases have a maximum bending nature. In this case have a maximum bending nature. In this case have a maximum bending nature. Okay, and if mass will increase, guys, the rest of, because of more bending nature, rest of the other mass, those are less, they will come under the attraction of those mass even heaviest among all. Similarly, this type of situation in the black hole have. Black hole has those type of super dense, super massive body where the curvature is more massive down, and that is the reason, guys, the mass is more, the gravity is more, curvature is more. If anything is coming under the attraction, they will go and burn completely. This type of features. Sagittarius A is one of the 2 black holes whose photographs has been captured under Event Horizon Telescope projects. Under Event Horizon Telescope project. Actually, Event Horizon Telescope project try to find out presence of event horizon regions. Event horizon region is what? It is the region those are going to generate after some distance of black hole regions. Okay, event horizon region is generating after some distance of the even those black hole region is there. Okay, but the area just outside the boundary of the black hole region is have a event horizon type of conditions, which have a vast amount of gas, clouds, plasma swirling violently, does emit a kind of radiation, even visible light. This type of picture even captured, and then it is proved it is a what? It is a kind of black hole. That name was a Sagittarius A. And this is the reason they got Nobel Prize, because of this type of achievements. Physics Nobel Prize. The story of the Physics Nobel Prize, you just read it. It was started, Alfred Nobel, okay, established the 5 Nobel Prizes. Okay, 1901, this prize started. Okay, who is behind the Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences behind it? Okay, fine. Now come miscellaneous topic. Second one, that is the Nobel Prize of Medicines. Nobel Prize of Medicines, 3 person got it. Okay, Americans Harvey Alter and Charles M. Rice, and British scientist Michael Houghton. They all 3 peoples even got the medicine Nobel Prize. Okay, and the purpose was for the discovery of hepatitis C virus. For the discovery of hepatitis C virus. Okay, these all the 3 scientists even work especially for hepatitis C. And they said that the major source of blood-borne hepatitis. Okay, this is what? This is hepatitis C is what? It's a majorly causes because of blood. Okay, and actually, you know, what is the benefit here? Why? Thanks to their own discovery, because highly sensitive blood tests for the viruses are now available. Earlier it was not available, but today highly sensitive blood tests are available. This is the reason in the beginning, guys, you people can diagnose the hepatitis. So elimination of post-transfusion hepatitis in many parts of the world. Okay, actually what happened, guys? We can restrict. And finally they will improve the global health. So elimination of post-transfusion hepatitis in many parts of the world become possible because of early detections. Okay, early detections. Okay, and that is very, very important. So rapid development of antiviral drugs. Their discovery is also connecting. Whatever they discovered, it will help us into development of antiviral drugs. And 95% of hepatitis C virus treatments now become possible. It's true. Those viruses are causing hepatitis. It may be of acute or maybe chronic. Acute are the normal type of viruses like hepatitis A type. But chronic, B and C, very, very dangerous. In the severe cases, they cause the liver cirrhosis, swelling of liver. Your liver stopped to do work and liver cancer. Hepatitis C, as the Nobel Prize was only for the hepatitis C. Last year UPSC asked the question 2020 hepatitis B and hepatitis C. Hepatitis C virus is a blood-borne virus. You remember, blood-borne virus. And treatments, I told you guys, antiviral medicines can cure more than 95% of person with the hepatitis C infections. And finally, to cause a reduce a risk from cirrhosis and liver cancer. Cirrhosis and liver cancer. Hepatitis virus generally have 5 types: A, B, C, D, E. D and E are very rare. D and E are very rare. So generally, the hepatitis A, B, and C are common. A and E, typically it enter inside the body through contaminated food and water. But B, C, and D, they infect a person through the help of body fluids. Nobel Prize of Medicine started from 1901. Okay, now I'm not going for that. What is the prize and what is, I just avoid it. This is just the information about the Nobel Prizes. I'm not going into this, and it is not important even. Nobel Prize in the chemistry. Chemistry Nobel Prize was given for this contribution of CRISPR-Cas9 genetic scissors. And CRISPR-Cas9 was also discussion multiple times. 2019 UPSC prelims, for the 2018 UPSC prelims, CRISPR-Cas9. And the name of scientists, those got the Nobel Prize for these purposes. The name of person you can see here, guys. Emmanuel Charpentier and the American Jennifer Doudna. Very interesting with this Nobel Prize is that both two are women. And first time, 2 times a women are getting the prize as a Nobel Prize. They share a prize for developing the CRISPR-Cas9 tool. Those CRISPR-Cas9 tool for the gene DNA editing purposes you can use in animal, plants, microorganisms with precision manner, with a very precise way, with a better analysis. CRISPR-Cas9 tool. And I told you guys it is the history of the Nobel Prize that first time 2 women had been declared for this winners. 2 women has been declared for the winners. How CRISPR-Cas9 working and all. So CRISPR, I have spoken you earlier, again I will tell you, clustered regularly interspaced short palindromic repeats. They work as a cut copy paste. It's a very simple way. They work as a cut copy paste. Wherever the defected gene happen, guys, they will firstly identify where is a defected gene. Specific area they identify wherever defect happen. Now they cut the defected DNA sequences. And through the help of normal DNA nucleotide sequences, that healing will complete. In this way, but every process is going to be very fast with more accurate reasons. So simple, this is the work how it works. It locates a specific area in the genetic sequences which has been diagnosed to be cause of the problems. Yeah, defect in the DNA and genes. It will cut it out, replace, and new and correct sequences no longer cause the problem is going to add on there. Another person, those having a problem, that genetic defect treatment happen, become possible. So that is the reason it is very simple technology, cut, copy, paste, and very fast technology, not time consuming. It has the potential applications, guys. Okay, eliminate the genetic defects, other diseases, even agriculture productions. Even in the case of designer baby, we can improve the genetic character of the newborns, guys. In this way, have a potential application of CRISPR-Cas9. Cancer cancer therapy, I already spoken you multiple times. Efficiency definitely very high, guys. Better efficiency, guys. Normal gene therapy procedure, those people were taking germline gene therapy, somatic gene therapy, they were time consuming. Maybe person die, but therapy is still continue. It's not completed. But here in this case, guys, very fast, efficient. And that is the reason miraculous results. It's totally entire process programmable, guys. Okay, even in agriculture sector, you people can also enhance the various feature into the plant body. Okay, tolerant of the drought, temperatures, many condition. Okay, pest resistance you can develop. There are some ethical concerns also involved. Some ethical concerns also involved. In 2018, in the case of designer baby, actually in November 2018, Chinese researchers claimed that they have altered the genes of the human embryo, and because of it, the result of it, by changing the genetic characters, there was the birth of twin baby girls happen. And later on there was a news, guys, now you people start to do the gene editing in the case of babies, and you people will try to develop the different type of nature of babies. It's ethically not right. The natural character of human being is going to lose if you will start to do it. Somehow it is good, so somehow it is a crime if for this purposes you are using it. Okay, in the case of Chinese twins, the genes were edited to ensure that they do not get infected with the HIV, the viruses that causes AIDS. And here this special trait would then be inherited by the subsequent generation as well. It's good. So somehow the another side, I'm telling you, it was a benefit also. Okay, it was a benefit also. What was the concern over it? Definitely, guys, there is one point that is a concern. CRISPR's technology was not 100% accurate. CRISPR's technology was not 100% accurate. And it is possible that some other genes could also get altered by mistake. Suppose some normal gene is going to altered because of the CRISPR-Cas9 sequences, and that can lead some of the problem inside your body. So still 100% accuracy, not in the case of CRISPR-Cas9. Just some of the scientists are telling this type of error also possible. Now some factual data are also in the news in the last year, like naturopathy. Naturopathy means natural care. Very simple. Naturopathy means what? Natural care. How natural care is possible? Definitely through the help of healthy diet, through the help of self-help techniques. Those you can do inside your body. It's a natural care. Through the help of breathing, relaxation exercises, beneficial health helps, general experiences, exercises. You know, these all are the best. These all are the best here. And they promote your body's healing mechanisms. In these cases, guys, many of the recurrent infections, long-term fatigues, anxiety, irritable bowel syndromes, everything you can solve out. Naturopathy. Your food, your exercise, you know, these type of things. Even Government of India has declared November 18 as a Naturopathy Day, in commemoration of the commitment made by Mahatma Gandhi to nature cure on that day in 1945. In 1945, 18 November 1945, Mahatma Gandhi said to everyone, try to be natural cure. And it is good also. Even in this case, your body have immunity and resistance. In this case, your body have a immunity and resistance. BrahMos missile. This BrahMos missile was successfully tested. Surface to surface missile, supersonic cruise. Supersonic means speed is more than 1 up to 5 Mach. Speed is officially 2.8 Mach. It's good. And the new BrahMos missile can strike up to 400 km away. It is an interesting point. Now, earlier those BrahMos India made, its distance was maximum 290 km. Reason I discussed with you under the nuclear diplomacy chapter, earlier India was not the member of MTCR. But now India is a member of MTCR. So now more than 300 km based missile India can develop. That is the reason in the case of BrahMos 1, its distance was around 290 km. But here those BrahMos even tested, it's a 400 km. And the purpose I told you in the static discussion, guys. Earlier, when you people was not the member of MTCR, you can develop a missile for defensive purposes. That's why less distance based missile development. Here a country can help you. But more distance based is for attacking purposes people will use. And that is the reason it was not allowed when India was not a member of MTCR. But today India is a member of MTCR, and India can develop a missile, BrahMos type of missiles, even for defensive, not only defensive, even also for attacking to someone else. So more than 300 km is allowed. You know, this is the BrahMos missile. For that purpose, India and Russia had deal in 2001. Okay, and this is the reason two countries' holy river name is used in this project: Brahmaputra and Moskova. Brahmaputra, Indian holy river; Moskova is a Russian holy river. Actually, in the case of BrahMos missile, in the beginning, guys, actually Russia has given all entirely propellant system to India. Propellant system means fuel plus oxidizer. Those used as a source of energy inside the missile. Russia has given you. Liquid ramjet engine, liquid propellant based ramjet engine. It was a delivery those Russia has given to India, especially in the case of BrahMos missile. Rudram is also very interesting, guys. Rudram also successfully test fired from the Sukhoi 30 fighter plane. It is a 4th generation fighter plane those India have, and still fighter in tendency India got from Russia. It was developed by Rudram by DRDO, Defense Research Development Organization, striking range around 100 to 150 km. It was the first indigenous air to surface missile that was developed by DRDO after supersonic BrahMos. Okay, and BrahMos here was developed with the help of Russia, but you people know very well, Rudram is totally indigenous. And this technology was designed for suppression of enemy air defense system, to neutralize the air defense in this case. And this missile can be launched from various ranges, even various ranges of altitudes, for destroying the enemy surveillance radars, for destroying the enemy tracking system, for destroying the enemy's communication system. In this way, Rudram is very beneficial. Now come aquaponics. Actually, some of the topics I also mentioned in the miscellaneous topic, that is called hydroponics. Very, very important. That is called hydroponics. Hydroponics is what? Hydroponic is a soil-less culture. I have a question. Tell me, guys. Why plants grow in the soil? Answer. Why plants grow in soil? For the nutrients and water. The plant eats soil? No. Plant never eats soil. Plant take nutrition and water. Those are available in the soil. If I'll give you an alternative. Within a container, I just put the nutrient and water. Those are sufficient for the growth of plants. And here you put the water outside in the sunlight. So tell me, without soil, in the presence of nutrients, plant will grow or not? Definitely grow. It's a kind of a hydroponics. With time, the soil availabilities are going to decrease, but still you can grow the hydroponics on your roof, and multiple productivity you can do. How you can do that, I'm not discussing here in this case. But hydroponics is a better way, guys. Hydroponics is a better way. And hydroponics, if you people will read some advanced journals, so it is written that hydroponics is a part of third green revolutions. Hydroponic is a part of third green revolutions. Even third green revolution is not popular. Rarely you will get this type of article anywhere. If you read a general type of material, so you will get it. And aquaponics is also the part of advanced level of third green revolution type. In the case of aquaponics, one side we are doing the fishes, pisciculture, and the second side parallelly we people are also growing up plants. So one side fishes production, second side the plant production, both we people are doing simultaneously under aquaponics. How it is so? Suppose this is the pond. In this pond have a water, and here have a presence of fishes. Here have a presence of fishes. This is the land. Yeah, a place where the plants are growing. Okay, plants are growing. These are fishes. Fishes has really even released their own excretory material, waste material. This waste material have a nutrients, fertilizers. Okay, these fertilizers based nutrients, water supply, you will provide to the plants. Plant absorb all the waste material those fishes are generating as a nutrients. And now when all the nutrients are going to take by the plants, this water is going to clean. And further the water is going to enter into what? Into the ponds, guys. So one side is a pisciculture, second side is agriculture. I just to simplify the concepts in this manner. So ultimately fish waste provide fertilizer. This fertilizer will utilize for the growth of plants in this way, guys. One side pisciculture, second side agriculture. And here the plant absorb the nutrients and they filter the water. It's a very simplest way. I hope you can understand. One more news was INS Kavaratti. INS Kavaratti. Actually, INS Kavaratti is a kind of anti-submarine warfare. INS Kavaratti is an anti-submarine warfare. Okay, anti-submarine warfare. Okay, it is an anti-submarine warfare ship. So those submarines are coming towards you. Against it, you people can use it INS Kavaratti. Okay, totally 90% it's a indigenous, totally entirely indigenous, 90% of indigenous. Actually, a project launched in India in 2003, it was a project 28, our Kamorata class corvette of the Navy, guys, where India was planning for the development and 4 indigenously ASW. ASW means anti-submarine warfare. In these 4 guys, 3 already developed earlier. The one was INS Kamorata, it was commissioned in 2014. Second, INS Kadam in 2016. Third one is a INS Kiltan in 2017. And INS Kavaratti was the 4th one. It was a part of Project 28. Recently it commissioned, and that's why it is in the news. So if UPSC asks you INS Kavaratti, remember it's anti-submarine warfare. That is important. And I told you guys defense is the least important chapter in your paper. In the last 10 years, I have 3 questions in the last 10 years in the prelims examinations. And those all 3 questions UPSC asked, that all 3 questions was current affairs based. So it is the current affairs, so you must be clear. Even in 2014, if you go on Google, guys, UPSC asked a question from INS Astradhani. INS Astradhani. In that year, 2014, it was in the news. This year, INS Kavaratti was in the news. So you must be remember INS Kavaratti. Next one and the last of this month, that is a infodemic. Actually, it's a rumor. It's a confusion. It's a confusion. It's a misleading the informations, false informations. Okay, those are going to spread on the social media. For that purposes, infodemic term is used. Infodemic is having too much information, including false or misleading information, particularly on the social media. And those are literally going to mislead a person in the case of COVID-19 pandemic. People also have not the trust on the government also. In this many purposes, guys. Okay, in this way, guys, in this case, infodemic is working. Infodemic, it may lead to the confusion, the risk taking, ultimately mistrust towards the government and public health response. In this way, infodemic is working. Even Soumya Swaminathan, who was the chief scientist of World Health Organization, has said that managing the infodemic has been a serious challenge during the COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, it is, but it is very, very necessary, guys. That misleading information should not be. Just like I got a news, like if somebody have a COVID, okay, and the oxygen intake tendency even decreases. So 3-4 drop of lemon you put in your nose through lungs, inside the lungs, and finally the coughs and everything will come outside, oozes outside, and now your lungs will clean and you will take oxygen properly, guys. Literally, it's a scientifically described? No. But some of the videos got viral, spread everywhere. Okay, even guys, government platforms are also making a lot of the fake videos and they are spreading it. Many parties, people, they are doing it. Many parties. Those people have a funding, they are doing it, and they are going to spread the wrong of the informations, and the people are going to mislead. But I'm not going to make this topic as a political. But this type of things is called infodemic. So this infodemic type of terms, you just remember, guys, for examinations. And this is the last topic. It is over. And definitely, guys, if you people even join my face-to-face classes, so you don't have to go for any classes. Okay, neither I will suggest to everyone, guys, if you miss my classes, yeah, long back, 5 years, 6 years back, 4 years back, if you have listened my classes, so you must have to update up science and tech environment again. So if you want to listen it me classes, my static and all classes, current I just make free for everyone. Static courses, if you want to, you people can go for the science and tech environment modules. Those are available in the Purvanchal IS app. A part of general studies foundation courses are also available for entire GS courses at very nominal fees, guys. Okay, and a part of this, guys, at my birthplace, that is Gorakhpur, UP, I have opened my institutions. It's your institutions. Try to work, especially for the weaker section of the people and the women's. Those got difficulty to move Delhi or metropolitan cities and join the classes, as Delhi is very costly. Safety mechanism, safety and all, many purposes. So the same Delhi-based teachers, me and all the entire team. Me already you people know. A part of all the other Delhi and Hyderabad, Bengaluru-based other faculties, they are coming and taking your classes here in this place, face-to-face at very nominal fees, because my purpose is totally different. Okay, and regarding any face-to-face courses or online, you people can contact on the given numbers. So thank you, everybody. It was enough for the October current affairs. In the next video, I'll meet with you for the November issues. I hope all the entire videos will be helpful to you. And I try to compile all the 1 hours at least rigid discussions. Do not like your waste any funny statements or anything here, because I want to focus toward the syllabus and just to finish it as soon as possible. I hope this message, these videos and all you will share to the other one. Those are the serious aspirants. Okay, and this PDF already available on given Telegram link. That is my Telegram link where you people also connect with me for the entire discussions. So thank you everybody. Take care of yourself. Have a good day. Bye.